I've definitely reflected on many a tradition, like
Mm.
an accepted worldwide tradition, and it reflected on whether I would do it at all the same way if I had that authority to like tell everyone how to celebrate of their New Year's, you know.
Right.
So like this will be coming straight from the heart. I'll tell you that. Um, okay, so first of all, let's warm up to this, I guess. Like at this point, I'm not thinking about New Year's
Mm.
except in the sense that my family's all uh, preemptively pissed off with the neighbors because they know that they're going to have a massive party on New Year's Eve, on Old Year's Eve, and
Is that like
it's
a
going to
every
be
year kind of thing?
it is pretty much. It doesn't bother me as much because I've told them like I get like a sixth sense of enjoyment out of like listening in on some of the conversations that they'll have, like because they're like shouting at each other from the top end of the property, and it's always like this is a family that like like you know a piss up is a religious event. Like that's that's why they're here. Like the kids, the elders, the parents, they're all here to get smashed.
This is something
And
serious for them.
they take this shit seriously. And
Yeah.
they've been, as far as I can tell, they've been doing it their whole lives. And like, the kids are like plopping Brandewijn and Cokes at like 10 in the morning. And I'm like, there's never a good time for a Brandewijn and Coke. And now you're starting at 10 a.m. That
Man,
like
but
the
I mean, at this point,
brandy and Coke is a fighting drink. Like that's
oh
what you
yeah.
drink when you get in a fight that night.
But I mean,
You know?
at this point, it's like, what else is there for New Year's? You know, what else is there that people are interested in doing? Because it just
Much
seems like an
nothing.
excuse just to get abominably trashed, right? Just
Yeah.
absolutely for no reason. And I mean, why? I've never,
Yeah.
I've never really got it. It's always just been like the most hedonistic, just decadent thing that I've that I've ever seen.
Yeah. It is. It is pretty. It's definitely the shining example of hedonism in the modern day calendar. You know?
Yeah,
Uh, you don't have to do your if you wanted to do that kind of a thing, you don't have to do it at the end of the year. Maybe it
like
seems appropriate, but does it seem appropriate to do it with your family? You
like
should do it with friends.
like
You know?
why do you think, like, what is the reason for this? Like, how did we how did we get here?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's almost all of our end of year traditions are just like like some sort of historical hangover of something that conveniently was slotted into the same time period, like
Yeah, yeah,
and and like we recognize the importance of people letting loose and getting a bit crazy, but do they have to drink to that point where you're like you're basically like you're just feral, it's
yeah.
like there's drinking games. I get that more like drinking games pop up because maybe it's like you're having to hang out with extended family or something, and you're trying to navigate the awkwardness. So you're like, let's play some drinking games. But mm, as adults, you don't. I don't need a game. If I want to drink,
I'll just take a drink.
I can make that. I can make that decision. And when are drinking games not sloppy? Like I don't consider beer pong like a drinking game, but if it's like if name any other game and you will get shit faced in 5 minutes. Like
Yeah.
the last couple, like I mean, if I've ever considered doing something like that, it's because of there's like a show, like I remember there was with like Archer.
Right.
Um, there was a game where you would take a shot every time they say phrasing, boom, or whatever, one of the lines, one of the catchphrases, and it's like
Yeah.
if you do that. you will die.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Whereas beer pong is
I don't
like
want to do that to
it's a game of
myself.
skill where you occasionally get to drink.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and it's kind of a punishment because the beer is usually a bit gross and like someone stuck their finger in there.
yeah.
It's probably maybe mixed, but you can play it with like light beer,
But
and you don't have to use computers and stuff.
but
So like,
do people play beer pong at New Year's? Is that a thing?
I don't know that, but all I know is that like if there is a game that I might engage in, like at a party, it might be something like that.
Mm.
And as you say, it's like it's not that intense. It's really just about getting people into one space and to like it's actually the only sport that you could manage to do while tipsy is playing with like a little ping pong ball and
True.
throwing it into cups.
And just hoping for the best.
Everyone knows that the more drunk you get, like your skills will drop,
Mm.
and you know, so it's like,
But as
yeah,
you
just kind of,
but
yeah, go ahead.
like no, like you said, I do think that it's some kind of, like you said, hangover from, old traditions, because the Romans, they used to, on the 1st of January, they used to get
Mm,
completely wasted at the feast of Janus, and it
mm,
was like this whole thing about like, um, if you go into the new year sober, it brings bad luck or some absolute superstitious bullshit like that. Just like some guy
yeah,
made up an excuse like a million years
yeah,
ago to that he wanted to get
yeah,
drunk every year, you know?
yeah. Biggest dickus was like,
Oh, my
verily,
my balls will shrink if I don't go drunk into the new year.
yes, yeah. All the ladies at the local vomitarium will never, they'll never look at me the same way again
Right.
if they, I need to. Yeah, man, there were
And
so many dumbass ways to bless yourself by doing
oh,
something really stupid and reckless and potentially life ruining. But like if you the more the I think that's the thing. It's like whenever it's some sort of like a folk cure, like a folk law based cure to some malady. It comes at a cost
right.
because the more uncomfortable the thing you do, the more you expect that you would be rewarded for having done something heinous. So like they're always essentially just forcing unfortunate people to do dumbass things, probably make their situation way worse, and
Mm.
they're just like deluded into thinking they've gone and blessed themselves for a whole year.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And it really that what you just said reminds me of another festival that was in medieval Europe. I think it was probably I don't know if it was England or if this was also in the Italian peninsula, but they had the Feast of Fools every January as well, where the clergy would
Mm.
just go completely like
Yeah.
ape shit, and the Pope would
Mm.
wear his underpants on his head or whatever.
It's like upside down, backwards day.
Yeah,
It's like it's like everything's topsy turvy,
and it kind of
and they're
seems like
like, but
modern New
it's
Year's is
fun.
just like a smashing together of all these old European
Mm.
pagan festivals. You know, the Feast of Fools, the Feast of Janus, just going out, getting
Yeah,
drunk, vomiting in public, making an ass of yourself.
yeah,
There's also the Feast of the Ass, where
yeah.
everyone eats ass. Well, no,
What like?
the Feast of the Ass is actually a completely unrelated festival that happens in January as well.
But
It's about Jesus and his parents riding on a donkey to Egypt. But it just
uh,
sounds
but
hilarious because that's like they're feasting on ass.
but in memory of Jesus and his favorite donkey, we all enjoy ass around this time.
In the
That's
name of
how
Jesus,
we
I
experience.
consecrate this ass.
I will please everyone, let's sit down and say a prayer before we enjoy this fine
Let us say
sample
grace.
of oh my God, dude. Yeah, so like when we were looking up stuff for the Christmas special, I was I mean, it's essentially because the date. I feel like the date is arbitrary because if we're looking this far back, the calendars were different and all that
Hmm.
stuff. But there was it's the funniest name. I think it's an more of an English thing. It is called wassailing. So
Okay.
the act of the activity or the time or whatever, it's basic. It's wassailing. And when I first read that, I was like, okay, is that what Waluigi does when he's sailing on a boat on a yacht?
Wah.
He's sailing. But it's the weirdest name. But basically, it's very in keeping with all of this.
Yeah, there's
It's
a lot of
community building
yeah.
where like a group of people. Oh yeah, I think it's kind of the origins of um caroling, because a bunch of
Oh.
like drunk middle-aged dudes would be like stumbling down the street, making as much noise as possible, and they would be carrying a goblet or a bucket or some vessel of some alcoholic concoction.
Sounds about
And
right.
sounds so nasty. And they
S-
would be like, "Yeah, I drank," and knocking on people's doors,
So
and I mean, I
why?
think everyone liked it, but it does sound like a fucking like a
It sounds
nightmare.
more like they were held hostage by it.
Yeah, like I mean, you'd probably just okay. I'll take a sip now. Fuck off, would you? Like
Mm-mm.
seriously, like leave me and my family alone. Um, that's wild, and that's the origin. I mean, I imagine that's probably got some roots in the whole caroling thing.
So it kind
So
of
doesn't that
looks,
mean
it kind of looks like every aspect of these end of year and beginning of year traditions. If you look into it, it just goes back
yeah,
to European drunkenness and degeneracy.
pretty much
Like,
hundred
why
percent?
is
I mean,
that? Why is that what we decided to adopt
hundred
globally?
percent, and it's very. I mean, hedonistic is the one, but whenever the word hedonism to me is like it's in like an old world connotation to it, obviously,
Hmm.
and it's very like I think of like the Greek gods, and I think of like Dionysus and stuff,
Yeah, you
and
picture
I think of
someone
how.
reclining and eating grapes and being fed like wine and things.
But I mean, you could call it a bunch of things. You could
Hmm.
call it just being a sloppy bitch. You know what I mean? Like
Oh
you
yeah,
don't. So it's like
you don't have to
yes,
use high language to describe this. It's
yeah.
just yeah.
We almost making it sound more romantic and prettier than it is.
Mm, mm,
Because could you imagine the wassailers? I'm assuming that's what they call themselves.
mm, mm.
Uh, you could imagine, and I'm also now gonna be dressing them up in Waluigi costumes. But
Going around
but like I
wassailing
would have,
people.
yeah. Someone was arrested for heavy wassault.
Yeah, exactly.
I was assaulted in the street last night. Yeah. No, man, they would have been like dirty,
Mm.
disease infected people that were like horrendously drunk.
Breath smelling like
Yeah,
beer and like pigeon pie.
yeah, fuck, exactly. Like, what was the average daily diet back then for like the local drunkard?
Moldy rye
You
bread and
know,
pigeon.
yeah. So that would have, I mean, time traveling. You and I, like, I don't think either of us would have appreciated that kind of a knock on the door at the end of the night. You know what I
Oh
mean?
hell no.
Like,
No, no, no,
I'm
no,
not
no.
going to join that street party. That's not my kind of street party. Um, so why is it that these are such ingrained
Yeah.
like the thing
And the,
ways of practicing
and
them?
all the things
It's been a
that's
long time since the
hmm,
Middle Ages, so why
yeah.
are we still doing it?
Like all the things that seem to stick, it's always seems to be about either drunkenness or just absolute, you know, uh, just in uninhibited retardation. Like you've got, like obviously we were talking about all these like drinking habits and things, but apparently here in South Africa, there's been a tradition in Hillbrow where people throw furniture and appliances out of their windows on New Year's.
On New Year specifically?
Yeah, yeah, it's like
Serious?
out with the old kind of
No way.
thing.
Fuck, that's okay. Wait. Just give me some more context before I go. I
S-
tell you how I actually don't think that's the worst idea. Okay, but please go ahead.
No, so
Please go ahead.
from what I understand, they just, they just throw whatever furniture and appliances they no longer want. They throw it out the window,
Mm,
and
yeah.
the police kind of have to come
So like,
by and quiet it
yeah.
down because people are getting hit with washing machines and, and shit in the street,
Oh God.
and also just like
Okay, but
firing guns out of windows and. Uh,
mm, yeah.
if I remember correctly, you guys had something similar to this last piece in Bushman's of firing fireworks at the
Yeah.
ops. Didn't you guys used to fire them across the river or something? Not you specifically,
Yeah.
but people in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%.
Apparently in
Off now, but yeah.
Hillbrow, apartment buildings fire them at each other, like from their windows, at
Holy
other
shit.
at other people's apartments.
Holy shit, man.
So
That is so crazy.
apparently New Year's in Hillbrow is absolutely just viciously
That's where I'm going
dangerous.
next year, man. I'm going there. Well, I'll send a drone in, and I'll just record the footage from the drone. And
Yeah.
I'll sit in the comfort of my own house. But
The objects I saw
okay.
listed that they throw are refrigerators, microwaves, beds, rubbish bins, and condoms.
Oh my God. This is amazing. I have a very strong positive reaction to your story, but I'm
This was
actually
meant
gonna
to be
I'm gonna
this was
pack
meant
it
to be one
away.
of the bad
I
things.
know. I know. I'm gonna pack it away because it's gonna tie into my story for side B of today's episode. Oh, that's so funny. But yeah, so I'm gonna jump into that when we get into the side B,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna tell you how it kind of like nicely pairs into what I was thinking, but I don't want to kind of like jump into it just yet. I
Okay, so
want to.
you're gonna flip around this story that I presented here as part of
Quite possibly,
what I was
but,
portraying as part of the New Year's
but
degeneracy, which I don't know if it's even true, but
and I'll tell you.
I did see it. It
Yeah,
was in a newspaper, so I'm assuming
yeah.
that it
No,
is
it's
true.
it's mostly true. It's true enough. I mean, it's probably not completely true if it was
Mm.
in a newspaper, but
Fair enough.
it's true enough. But yeah, so like I'll say I'm gonna qualify obviously, but yeah, it just ties in. It's
Mm.
thematically linked.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, so there's a hella lot of degeneracy
Mm.
in general, maybe, but like if it's a good party. Okay, so here's my point. I'm pretty much pro all of the things you do on New Year's, maybe not the binge drinking culture,
Mm.
but that could change, right?
Right.
Um, so okay, I've kind of noticed that there's maybe not so much in South Africa. I can't necessarily comment on that, but at least in other places, there has been apparently quite a reduction in the number of young people, like in the, I guess maybe the Gen Z sort of
Mm.
age group, and there are just less people at clubs,
Mm.
less people buying into that kind of
I think
culture.
it's a global thing. I've heard that people, generally the younger
Yeah,
people, are drinking less.
because of, because of all the negatives. I mean, it's just
Mm.
because of all
They're seeing
the
it,
well understood problems.
It's yeah,
Yeah,
they're seeing it more clearly
um,
than any generation before, I guess. But
definitely, and that's great.
but I wonder if even they do even they get possessed by the spirit of Janus when January
Hmm.
comes around. Do they go crazy?
Janice? You mean Janice?
Janus,
Janice the Annis?
Janus, that does Janus crawl up their anus and just make
Yes,
them go
that's
completely
how,
bananas?
yeah, that's how the spirit of Janice it gets inside you. She,
That's how the original Roman
yeah,
emperor began the New Year's tradition. Some woman named
yeah,
Janus crawled up his anus. Is there anything else you wanted to say about what you don't like about
Uh,
this
nah,
festival?
I think we've covered it. I
Mm,
think essentially, like you and I agree, I think the drinking fixation can be switched out for something.
mm,
And I think if it's something we want to do, we don't have to do it on one day. I think that's the only point I wanted to make is that like you could spread it out over a period of a month,
mm.
right? Uh, this isn't my proposition, by the way. This is just what we could realistically in the real world actually do. Because in the past, that's how they celebrated Christmas
Right.
and that whole the period or whatever. It was like it wasn't all fixed to one date, and then the pressure and the intensity can be diminished because you kind of just spread it out. There's less people on the roads. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we need to kind of like not have one date like the New Year or the 25th or the 24th, but like kind of have a period in
Yeah.
which everyone
Whether
just knows
which, like you
they
said,
can celebrate freely.
that is the old way of doing it. But whether that would lead to increased or decreased fatalities, I'm not 100% sure.
True.
But it
True. So
but
true.
it's but
But
it's
that
it could go either way.
You need to repent, for you have sinfully slept on our New Year's seasonal specials. Come, ye faithful, and fill your holy bellies. Fill not your bellies with satanic swill. Fill not your hearts with love of the taverns and nightclubs. Surely I say unto you, dudes, fill your bellies with the blood and the flesh of God Himself. This New Year's, we offer boofable communion at affordable prices for every congregant who is actively tithing at the premium plan rate of 80% annually and will include one free packet of Jesus crisps.
Amen. Only one, Lord. Amen.
Now get your ass to midnight mass.
Shall we talk about what was it? Better ways to celebrate the new year, if at all, right? That's what the
yes,
concept was.
if it all was just me
Hedging.
advising that you can totally take a different approach here and just say no.
Mm, mm.
It's like I'm done,
Yeah.
no more.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go that way. But you can do that if
Yeah,
that's what
no,
you want.
I did consider it, but I actually, the more I thought about it, there are things that I think could be like a nice way for communities and people to welcome in a new year, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, you can even
definitely.
you can even keep the foolishness if you want to. There are ways that you can keep the foolishness without it being a complete drunken, debauched occasion.
Yep.
Like you look, there's a whole in a bunch of different places. They've got these things like, they have that. What is the thing that they do in New York where the ball drops at New Year's?
Yeah. The ball drop.
The ball drop, right? Now, I mean that is absolutely retarded, but no one's gonna get hurt
It's
when your balls
so,
drop, right?
it's so fucking stupid, man.
Right.
And I
So
think New
so
York
that
is
that
also
that
based.
keeps the foolishness without necessarily endangering
True.
people's health and safety.
True.
But you can ramp up the foolishness if you want to, because
Yeah.
there's places
Yeah. Let's
like
ramp it up.
look at this, right? Mount Olive, they have a pickle drop, where they drop a pickle at the beginning
Ah,
of New Year's, right? That's an interesting one. Or in
yeah.
Plymouth,
Just a single pickle.
a single pickle, or in Plymouth, it's a giant wedge of cheese that they drop. I guess they're known for their dairy or something.
Yeah.
And
Pretty good
then
cheese.
then there's Lebanon. I don't know if this is Lebanon the country or if this is like a city in America called Lebanon, where they drop a giant piece of bologna.
Oh my god,
I can't imagine
that,
this happening
that-
in like Beirut,
that's so
Lebanon.
American.
I feel like this is
No,
like
that
I feel like there's an American town called Lebanon where they drop
yes,
this bologna.
100%.
Um,
It's so American, man.
in Bruges,
Just like,
they drop a giant Belgian waffle.
yeah, okay, that's delicious.
That sounds like a good tradition.
That's my favorite so far,
And
100%.
on the Princess Anne Island, they drop a muskrat. That one I'm not so sure about.
Wow.
I'll be honest. Dropping a live
Yeah,
muskrat sounds kind of dangerous.
yeah, I wouldn't go for that one.
That's and
It
that's
sounds like a lot of fatalities, a lot of, yeah,
and if the
they're gonna go for the eyes. So,
if the muskrat gets loose, this is now back into the realm of dangerous
muskrat soup.
foolishness,
Yeah,
much like the possum drop in Carolina as well. So
yeah,
so we stick to things like the
classic possum
watermelon
drop.
drop, the acorn drop. These are all fine, you know. Drop various items
Sure.
of food for people's entertainment. I think
Right.
that I think that can be an acceptable way
Yeah,
to express this New Year's
100%.
foolishness that people seem inclined to engage in every year.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm really like pretty positive on that one. I'm a big fan. I would
Yeah.
support that.
Which one do you
I
like the
would rally
most?
behind.
Is there a specific one
Oh,
that really
oh,
resonated with you?
of item to drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the the fruit and the walnuts and stuff. That's
Mm.
like, come on, man. That's lame sauce.
Not trying. Although I do think
That's
the watermelon is a
that's
good one because it explodes when it hits the
yeah.
ground.
It's a good, but it's promising. You need like maybe 100,000 watermelons. Okay.
Right, right.
No, because look, we started off with this reference point of the New York ball drop. Speaking of, what is it made of? Is that like plastic or something?
I have no
Like
idea.
rubber?
I just know that they
Because I
drop a
mean,
ball.
how does it not kill people when it lands on them? You know,
Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe it's a beach ball.
it's got to be some kind of a super duper beach ball,
Hmm.
like Nickelback's kind of like A grade beach ball
Yeah, yeah.
kind of thing that
The kind that you
that
take.
you'd see at a Nickelback concert
Exactly.
in 2003
Yeah, yeah.
to 2007. Um, but speaking of like people, they kind of already are turning on the whole ball drop thing because
Hmm.
it's like I'm assuming it's New York. It's like a traffic nightmare.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
It's all these people crowded there for a long time. I bet
Hmm.
they don't like can't move around a lot. And then there's one thing that happens every time.
Yeah.
They don't shake it up. They don't like do a
So
little
that
twist on it.
that is a
So
problem that I was thinking about with a couple of the things that
I'm
I was
already
gonna
bored.
yeah. It is a problem with a
Yeah.
couple of things that I was gonna suggest is that they block up
Yeah.
traffic, you know, because another one is
Yes.
these street processions that are actually kind of cool, you know, like here we've got the
Those
Tweede
are
Nuwe
great.
Jaar, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool with the minstrels, Kapse Klopse doing their songs. The Chinese have
Exactly.
their Chinese New Year street processions, which are pretty cool with the dragons, and I think Vietnam has
Yeah.
them too, which are awesome. But then you've got the downside of, is this now a public nuisance?
mm mm.
But
Yeah.
I
I'm
suppose you
actually
could
yeah.
say like, who is going out to these places at that time of the day unless you want to be there for that
Yeah.
event? So I wouldn't say it's
Yeah.
necessarily a nuisance.
Uh,
It's just a logistical nightmare,
yeah.
maybe.
Exactly. It's a logistic nightmare, but like maybe AI one day will it's replaced a lot of jobs. Maybe it will replace the job of like events organizers.
All
So
right.
like it would be able to direct traffic immaculately, like to the everyone is just organized as fuck, and if you're anywhere near the main street or wherever the procession route is, you know you're good. Because and as you say, like if you know it's that time, then you stay at home. You don't go out.
And it's
I'm really
basically
pro.
it's
I'm
like
pro
midnight.
street festival.
This is like
I love that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool way for the
So
community to express
Yeah.
jubilance for the new year in a cultural way.
Yes. So I think I'm all for that. So is that kind of your part of your vision for the future of New
Well, I mean,
Year's?
it's kind of a vision of the present here in Cape Town. So it's done. That is done
Yeah.
every. Although it's on the 2nd of January, not on the 1st,
Yeah.
and it
Second
happens
of Jan.
and it happens in the daytime. So I guess that can become a nuisance. But again, like we said, if you just decide,
Mm,
the 1st and 2nd of New Year's, you only go to those areas if you want to be a part of that. It's completely avoidable. You can
yeah.
just stay at home.
Yeah. And you can see the events televised
Yeah, you can watch
or
it.
like streamed or
You can
something.
watch it on YouTube or something.
Yeah. Which is
So
perfect
that's
for the
that's
introvert
one
of
that's one
society.
option that I think is cool, and it's nice because it's
Excellent.
actually already done here. But basically,
Yeah.
my whole
But
thing
that's because
was
South Africa is amazing.
my thesis, if you sum it up, is we need to stop looking west for our New Year's traditions, because all those traditions are just drunken revelry and like I said,
Fuck yes.
stupidity. And we need to actually look
Yeah.
east, or even just look like here at home. But if you look at a
Yeah.
lot of
100%, man.
the Eastern New Year's traditions, whether that be your Far East, like China, where they have their street processions as well, obviously, which is lovely, much like our
Yeah.
own. But then they also have, in Thailand, they have a New Year's tradition that I think would actually go down really well here, which is, I think they call it
Yeah.
the Songkran Festival. I think it's called. Where, I mean, it's
Okay.
Thailand is probably even hotter than South Africa this time of year, and what they do is
Ooh.
they have this festival where they all just spray each other with water. They have water guns and water balloons and buckets of water that they throw over each other in the heat in like a town square.
Awesome.
I think that would
Yeah.
go. I think that would be very popular here because, I mean, this is like
Yeah.
it's the hottest days of the year in this country. I
Oh,
believe is
yeah.
Christmas, around Christmas and New Year's.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, man.
Hmm.
I love your suggestion. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I really like that. And it's
Otherwise,
super refreshing.
yeah,
And
exactly.
maybe even like a moisturizer like station where people can literally put it on the skin. Like
Yeah, dude.
in the
But
middle
there's
of the day,
but
Look,
there's a bunch
like
of
at
there's
like festivals and stuff,
and there's a bunch of
they
ways you
have
could there's a bunch of ways you could
yeah,
incorporate. You could have stalls that are selling food. It could be an economic like boon for the country as well.
yeah, yeah. Like at festivals, if you're in a wintry country, they have places where you can medical whatever medical bay essentially,
Hmm.
right? And what we saw was in the UK is they're aware that if people take drugs, whether it's like sometimes it's like someone's like potentially been like roofied or something, and they need to be cared for,
Or
so
just
they're at
someone
least
taking too much of
aware of
something they
that.
took intentionally.
They didn't, yeah, like they didn't quite know what they were getting into or whatever. Like they need to be there, and they're super aware of the dynamics. So
Hmm.
like you might not want to admit to it because it's an illegal thing or whatever, depending on the place. But the whole idea of like being just one step ahead and being like, yeah, we're gonna moisturize your skin because you're outside in the sun,
Yeah.
exposed all day. That's
Yeah.
so easy to organize.
And
Hydration station, moisturizer stations.
then
There you
we've
go.
there's a bunch of other things that we could also kind of pilfer from them
Yeah.
for our New Year's traditions, right? Another thing that we find in Southeast Asia, we've got, I believe it was Bali, uh, where their entire island goes completely silent. No one talks, no one uses the internet,
Oh,
no one plays any music. It's
mm,
just complete silence for the entire first day of the year, which is a complete 180
that's it.
from
Yes.
any other New Year's tradition I've seen. Whether I'd survive that, I'm not sure, but it's probably better for everyone, for the
Probably great.
society than any of these raucous celebrations. But
Totally. Way
but the
better.
but the big
Yeah.
thing I think that we need to adopt is specific New Year's foods that a lot of cultures have. They've
Yeah.
got their special New Year's cakes, or I think in certain Middle Eastern countries they eat like red sticky rice, or
It sounds
in
delicious.
in West Africa it's like the New Year can't start unless you eat yams. Everybody's got to eat yams.
In in West Africa?
Yeah, I
In
think it's
my
in.
mind, yams are a very like an American thing. Are there
Um.
yams in
Oh.
West
Oh
Africa?
yeah. Plantains. They love it. It's.
Oh, okay, plantain. I
Yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
realize that yams were plantains.
I think they're the same thing.
I'd love to. I'm actually really curious about cooking a dish like with plantain because
Oh, dude, I absolutely hate. I hate it. I find it revolting.
you hate it.
Yeah, but I think it's
Or at
cool
least
that
you know,
I
you
feel
know?
like it's cool that they have a specific tradition that they eat this thing on that time of the year,
Yeah,
and we should
yeah.
have like some kind
That's
of
it.
like New Year's snook or something like that. I don't know.
Oh, it's a good idea.
Yeah, like a
That's a really good idea.
New Year's snook braai.
Encourage people to go fishing. Find your own fish. I mean, fish your own fish, but encourage people to fish, and then
Mm.
they'll actually get in touch with nature. Obviously, not everyone fishes, but like suddenly you have to go to the coast. It's okay. It's South Africa. There's a lot of coastlines, and then you go get you if you can get yourself a snook. You know,
Yeah,
that's a that's an awesome tradition.
I think that would be. I think that
Mm.
would be great. It's also the perfect weather for a snook braai this time of the year.
Dude, you're so on point today. You're kind of okay. So I'm feeling this is so that's basically your kind of your vision in a
Yeah,
way, like or like
yeah,
where we would get inspiration from. So
yeah.
what would then if you wanted to like summarize based on these, what would your these previous like already these are like already practiced
Mm.
things like
Mm.
the one in Bali and the yams, man, the
Yeah,
yams,
yeah.
all the yams. What would you say then? And to summarize, what is your vision for the perfect way to kind of
Yeah. So
uh,
basically,
celebrate New Year's?
it is like I said. You've got your specific New Year's meal, which I'm envisioning as a New Year's snook braai. I suppose we'd have to.
Oh yeah,
I suppose we'd have to vary it a little bit for different regions, because
sure,
obviously snook is a very Western Cape thing. In
sure.
Central, you might have like a lamb braai or something, because you're not going to get snook
Yeah,
in the Free State or whatever.
yeah. I mean, a
But
lot of
basically,
people don't eat fish, so
yeah, yeah,
there are actually a lot of South Africans and stuff don't
yeah,
even like
yeah,
the idea of eating fish.
yeah,
So there would need to be some meat alternative.
yeah.
But yeah,
Whether
it
it's
sounds good.
boerewors, whether it's you know lamb
Beef,
chops, whether
just like
it's your
something.
snook,
Yeah, lamb
whatever,
chops.
something locally, uh, you know, popular.
A local, yeah, locally popular. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You can have your grabovors, whatever. It's fine. Um,
Nice.
in addition to that, you've got the water festival, where everyone sprays each other in the heat. In a designated location, not just walking around randomly anarchy spraying each other. If you go to certain places, you're gonna get drenched, right? Uh, so it's basically just
Yeah.
it essentially just becomes a community oriented summertime festival that has like street processions and food, rather than
Mm,
drunken revelry and retardation.
yeah, less of that,
Mm.
definitely. Okay. I like this. I would sign up. I
Yeah,
would 100% sign up.
yeah, I think it's a
I
good
would
one.
say that's almost like achievable as well. It's
Mm.
like it's like super. So it's unfortunately you've kind of um that's actually what I would want. You know, that's really in my heart of hearts. That's what I want for us in our country. So to be real, that sounds fucking amazing. And I also think like if you could if we could adopt something along the lines of what you mentioned that happens in Bali,
Mm.
it's like it's like damn. That sounds so cathartic.
maybe we have
So
all the
healing.
revelry leading into New Year's, and then from the morning of New Year's Day, nationwide silence.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I think that's, and I also think it's really I mean, it's a proved thing. We know that already can aid in like your appreciation of all the modern technological like
Just
kind
remove
of
yourself from everything for a little while. It's like a meditation, right?
yeah.
Now imagine the whole
It's
country meditating at once.
yeah, man. And like this is just generally the kind of stuff I'm aiming to do anyway, because it's probably going to be good for you if you do that all the time. But like if you can do it once a year,
But
that sounds good.
it might be good for the national
We're
psyche
gonna
to
do
start the
some-
year that way.
yeah, it's actually kind of like it's pretty magical for like any country or society to like to just be that self-aware that they want to just take stock,
Collectively
and cut off.
disconnect for a bit.
It's beautiful. Okay, so that one was actually pretty genuinely, sincerely sweet.
Yeah, yeah.
That's really so. Like, I really respect that. But so for mine,
I feel like we're
um,
about to shift gears right now.
there's definitely going to be a tonal shift. So just give me a second, and um, and have a sip of my coffee. I just want to like make sure I've got everything I need to like bring the energy. But
While you prepare yourself, how about I run through something quickly? I was also I also wanted to tell you about probably the coolest New Year's tradition that I've ever heard of. Right, so in the Middle East, the Persians and the Kurds, they have something called Nowruz, which just means New Year or New Day,
okay,
but it's like
that
their
makes
New Year celebration. But their New Year
yeah.
celebration includes something called Chahar Shanbe Suri, which is where they build a massive fire and everyone jumps over it, right? So this is just like an insane, like insanely dangerous, just badass festival, I guess. But the
That's
real
the best thing.
the real reason I wanted to bring it up is because the Kurdish version has this incredible story that I think this is what most New Year's traditions are missing is a mythology. Because the Kurds have this. Listen to this. So Zahak was an evil Assyrian king who conquered Iran and had serpents growing from his shoulders. His rule lasted for 1,000 years, and his evil reign caused that spring no longer came to Kurdistan. During this time, 2 young men were sacrificed daily, and their brains were offered to Zahak's serpents in order to alleviate his pain. However, the man who was in charge of sacrificing the 2 young men every day would instead kill only 1 man per day and mix his brains with those of a sheep in order to save the second man. As discontent grew against Zahak's rule, the nobleman Feridun planned a revolt. The revolt was led by Kaveha, a blacksmith who had lost 6 sons to Zahak. The young men who had been saved from his fate of being sacrificed, who according to these legends are the ancestors of the Kurds, were trained by Kaveh into an army that marched to Zahak's castle, where Kaveh killed the king with a hammer. Kaveh is said to have then set fire to the hillsides to celebrate the victory and summon his supporters. Spring returned to Kurdistan the next day, and this is why the Kurds jump over fire every New Year because of this story.
Wow,
I've never
that
heard
is
a New Year's tradition that incredible. It's such a great story.
damn. Yeah, it's got an actual like
Plot.
bona fide plot. It's like a backstory. It's like its own origin film.
It actually gives a reason for why they do the celebration, not just it's not just
Yeah,
portrayed as superstition, like every
yeah,
other tradition.
yeah. It's like it's no pandering. It's just edited down.
Yeah,
It's clean. And then the character names are very memorable and catchy.
Oh yeah, like Zahak. You'll never forget about evil King Zahak from Assyria. Yeah.
I'm, I actually, I like that. Zahak. That could make a good metal band name.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah.
okay. So you were taking a very like very peaceful, very like meditative approach to this.
Yeah, I kind of flipped what New Year's is, at least in the West, completely around.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I really appreciate it because I kind of yeah, I feel like I may have inadvertently like done something like that myself as well.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's a good approach to take, you know.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
be
It just
more zen,
seems.
you know,
Just seems.
be more mindful.
It seems like the natural thing to do, right?
Yeah. Okay, so is that the Hillbrow? Is that something that's still happening like every year?
No, from what I understand, the police have cracked down and regained order, I suppose. Yeah, I don't think it happens anymore. From what I could gather, there's not a lot of information about it. Uh, it's mostly, it kind of seems like bullshit a little bit because when you see a story all over and most of the results when you search are Facebook posts and Instagram
Yeah,
posts and things like that. But like I said, I did manage to find one newspaper article about it, which lends it maybe a little bit more credibility than a bunch of copy paste Facebook posts with the exact same story on them.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
But
Um,
in this country, I wouldn't be surprised if it was real. So
yeah, yeah, that's the thing is it did kind of sound real to me, but not on like on like an organized level. So like the way that I guess the aspect of it repeating every year seemed implausible, but the idea of it happening at least once and then like taking on this whole like this is going to be a tradition that I can believe because we
yeah,
definitely like there's a lot of like riots in this country and I kind of feel like that's a good thing.
yeah, I would imagine.
Because
I would imagine that it started like some person just did it, and someone else was like, "I'm gonna do it too," and then it just spread. I don't think it was um, an organized thing. It just happened to happen one New Year's, and then people repeated it. I guess.
yeah, okay, so let me just share the way I'm going to go with this.
Hmm.
Okay, so I would suggest that instead of, you know, I don't know if everyone can get into meditation as easily as they can get into a little bit of like, you know, well managed anarchy, you know, a
Right.
little bit of chaos that's supervised by adults, you know.
Right.
So like meditation, I think it's especially given how people celebrate today, it's going to be such a hard sell. No
Hmm.
one's going to want to do that kind of a 180 and suddenly just like start like downloading headspace and meditation apps and shit like that.
Right.
Like um I think what we should do is we should be focusing on our meditation game all year round,
Hmm.
and then at the end of the year, as a cathartic release of all the fucking tension and the failed meditation sessions, then you go on a destructive spree, all contained, all safe, but you go, you let loose, you get off some steam, blow off some steam, and if it's, I feel like if it's, it's a government regulated practice, it's something that like, or at least community led um event or activity, with like months of prep and stuff like that.
Right.
Like basically taking the idea of a what do they call those, like anger rooms where you go and destroy a bunch
Rage
of like,
rooms. Yeah,
you
dude,
just
that's
like
pretty
take a
cool. I've done
rage.
that.
That has to have felt good.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So cathartic, so good for your mental health. I think it's the perfect timing. I think with all the pent up, um, you know, attention and stuff, like all sorts of like frustration and shit around this time of year,
Mm,
it's perfect
mm.
to at about this time. Doesn't need to be on the 1st or the 31st. It could be any time around here. No pressure. More places will be open that way. You get more bookings for this kind of activity. You take your family. It's family friendly. You can put your own music in. They're not going to be necessarily like blaring like metal music or something.
Right.
You can go with whatever you want. Maybe you get to pick, if you've booked a room, you get to pick your soundtrack, your playlist or something. And I think it'll be so good for most, even if not everyone signs up, and it's like a lot of people do it. I think it would be very like healthy for society.
Yeah,
So
controlled destruction. Not a bad idea. It's better than the purge, that's for sure.
yeah, we're not going full purge. So that's my proposition. It's somewhere in the neutral moderate
Mm,
zone of
mm.
on that scale, right?
Yeah.
I want mostly harmless anarchy, okay? And I feel like that's the perfect antidote to all the kind of self-destructive excess of New Year's today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
that
that's
doesn't
that's
sound like
basically
a
my
doesn't sound like a bad idea at all.
no. I think I would love this, honestly. I would be happy with either one of our visions for New Year's in the future. But yeah, I mean, just to give it a little bit of like, give a little, strength to this argument. There are there is one really cool example of, a real world practice, something similar to this,
All right.
in Latin America, in Ecuador, and I guess, yeah, it might be in a bunch of places, but maybe that's just at least the origins, and whether it's still celebrated in this exact way, I don't know for sure. But even if I'm mostly right about this, it's fucking awesome. So
So it's
it's like,
like an old tradition that they have there that you're not sure if it's
yeah,
still exactly preserved.
yeah. I just don't know because I'm doing such surface level research. But so long as it hits the boxes, and I'm fine if you, because with any tradition, you're gonna do it your way,
Right.
and
Yeah.
that's a good thing,
Yeah.
right?
Every tradition gets a little
So
twist of lime.
even if yeah, exactly. So it's called Año Viejo, I
Mm.
believe, and
Okay.
it's basically the celebration where families and neighborhoods will build life-size dummies, and they're stuffed with paper or sawdust, and they caricature
Mm.
politicians, people's bosses, and they can in you know they can essentially embody any conceptual frustration from your past year. So, corrupt politicians, that kind of ties into uh, the whole cuck uncle, cucka fourth thing with and we love that, man.
Yeah.
So like, I'm all for this. I think it's awesome, and I kind of want to do something like this.
Yeah,
So then, yeah,
I did
essentially,
actually come across that in my research of the
oh, awesome.
global New Year's traditions, but it was so
Mm.
antithetical to the aesthetic that I was going for. So I'm actually glad I left. I'm glad I left it off because it left it wide open for your complete opposite style.
But what's beautiful is that I feel like both of our options are not at odds. They're just, maybe they can't be booked for the same part of the year. They need to be like,
There needs to be a
someone
little
needs
bit of
to schedule
space.
it,
Yeah,
but it's just a scheduling. It's a logistics issue,
for
right?
sure. I think
yeah,
I also saw
uh,
that they fill those effigies with firecrackers.
yeah. I mean, I didn't know that, but that sounds exactly right because essentially they're just meant to make a big bonfire. So I'm
Hmm.
sure people probably want to just put on any kind of a show. Fireworks is always fun. Um, yeah, I mean, for
And people like
yeah.
when
So I
thing
mean,
go boom.
yeah, exactly, man. I should do.
Yeah.
I it's the whole fireworks thing is now like a constant discussion in the house because of the fact that you know, there's so many dogs in the neighborhood and
Mm.
everyone's concerned about the
Mm.
animals and stuff,
I have
which I
some
understand 100%, but
I have some
you know,
opinions on fireworks and things, but we can actually save the
yeah,
fireworks discussion for when we do our 5th of November special.
oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's really it, man. And I feel like that's pretty
Yeah.
much all I got.
I really
Um,
see I really think
but
that
yeah.
the Scottish tradition would fit in very nicely with your idea as well, the hogmanay,
Oh yes,
where
100%.
they
I think
gather
we
in the
should do a
streets and
blend
they
of all of these.
fling. Yeah, you what you could do is you could have every neighborhood gets or you get a like your neighborhood gets a team together and builds an effigy of someone, right, filled with firecrackers, and then the next neighborhood over does the same thing, and then you
Mm,
meet at some middle ground, and it
yeah,
needs to be like a big street or something. And
yeah,
at one end of the street, you put your neighborhood's effigy, and at the other end of the street, the other neighborhood puts their effigy. And then you've got your Hogmanay players or whatever in the middle, and each
yes.
side needs to try and fling fireballs at each other's effigy, and you win
Oh my
by
God.
causing the firecrackers inside to explode in your opponent's effigy.
You know what? You hit all my favorite taglines, man. Fireballs,
Yeah,
effigy, and Hogmanay. I fucking love a good Hogmanay
it's
on a
got
Sunday.
it's got hog in
Fuck
it.
yeah.
Everyone likes a little bit of pig.
Dude, and just imagine the sheer public panic, the widespread panic at the potential fire risk of this kind of like activity.
And the
Like
people getting
this would be something,
hospitalized, like,
yes,
because
constantly like
you're gonna have people on the back
surgically
lines who are
burned.
the closest to the effigy, and when that thing blows
Yes.
up, they're within the blast radius.
Yeah. Yeah, and dude, it's gonna be a little bit more like Squid Games, where like people are like tried criminals are like forced to be,
To play defender.
like kept within like a golden circle like radius
Yeah,
of the effigy,
you
and
structure
they're
it
the ones.
you structure it like a hockey team, right? So
Mm,
you've got your strikers, your wings, you've got your midfielders, your defenders, and your sweeper, right?
yeah.
Goalkeeper is basically the effigy. So you've got your sweeper and your defenders. Those are all like convicted criminals and sex fiends or whatever, sex pests in the
Yeah.
neighborhood. Get forced to play that. They
Hmm.
have to be at the back defending. So they're gonna defend this effigy with their fucking lives, dude. They're gonna be jumping in front of fireballs and shit.
Ah,
And then your midfielders and
yeah,
your
but just
strikers are just like all your most athletic people in the neighborhood, just throwing fireballs as hard as they can at the other side.
dude, this is so it's a kind of a blend between like the Purge movies, this like Squid Games, and Hogmanay.
Yeah. And what did you say the Latin American festival was called?
Ah, Año Viejo.
Mm, mm. And
Año Viejo.
that's in there too,
Año
because remember
Viejo.
you've got the
Yeah.
effigies. So every New
Yeah.
Year's would start with the effigy parade. You show off
Mm.
your effigy, best one wins. But then that
Yeah, it's
doesn't.
like a cosplay competition.
Yeah, exactly. But what
Mm.
actually matters is winning Hogmanay, because what good is it
Mm.
to win the parade if your shit's gonna blow up?
Yeah, like people like it's a whole your whole community is like relying on you, and like you've got like family members are like involved, and like it's like basically like civil war.
Yeah, and
The
it
pressure is on.
gives criminals and sex pests an opportunity to redeem themselves in the eyes of the community.
Yeah, like if you're like a survivor or like a champion of the Hogmanay Año Viejo Day parade, whatever it's called. If you're like some sort of like, you know, whatever this Hunger Games like event is, and then you're allowed back into like civilized society.
Exactly. Everyone will stop
You get-
talking
you
about
get
that
off the
time
list.
that you robbed an old lady, you know, and they'll start talking about how you took a fireball to the chest at the Hogmanay game.
I took a fireball to the knee. Yeah.
I used to be an adventurer like you.